But earlier today, some tough questions on Capitol Hill when the House Oversight Committee grilled the National Parks Department on whether the White House was behind the decision to barricade U.S. monuments and parks. Here's a little bit of the National Park Service Director and Congressman Trey Gowdy.
In October of 2011, Occupy protesters descended upon McPherson Square, and they decided to stay. Despite the clear language of the law, Mr. Jarvis, why did you fail to enforce the plain language of a statute for 100 days for protesters? And yet, on the very first day, you denied access to a monument that veterans helped build.
Joining us now, South Carolina Republican Congressman Trey Gowdy. Representative Gowdy, good to see you again on the program. So what were you going for there? I mean, that guy said, look, it was a First Amendment thing for the Occupy Wall Streeters, and I was letting people go to the memorials, even the vets and the wheelchairs.
No, the duplicity was just too much for me to stand, Megan. For 100 days, he didn't lift a finger for left-wing protesters in McPherson Square. And on the very first day, to make this shutdown as painful as possible for innocent people, he barricades World War II veterans. On the one hand, he ignored a statute, and on the other hand, with the veterans, he invented a statute that doesn't exist. So I just wanted him to explain to me why a law enforcement official, which is what he is, would ignore the law for 100 days and yet invent a new statute on day one to deny veterans access to a monument that they built, and I never got an explanation.
He claimed that his almost entirely furloughed staff did not have enough people to keep the memorials open safely, and that's why he had to do what he did with the vets.
Well, he also claimed he couldn't remember who he talked to at the White House. These are open-air monuments, Megan, so I mean, you can go right now and there's not staff. You can go tomorrow and there's not going to be staff. He got caught trying to make this as painful as possible. And instead of doing what he ought to do, which is say, you know what, I messed up. He wants to come up with an excuse or a justification. And my goal was just to explain the hypocrisy. Previous shutdowns, they did not do this. They did not close national parks.
Right.
What is talismanic about this shutdown that you felt the need to do it?
Did you get to that at all? Because did you ask him about the fact that even when we had government shutdowns in the past, they never did what he did with these monuments? Did he have an explanation for that?
Well, we tried to, Megan, but, you know, we only get 5 minutes, and he cited the anti-deficiency statute, and if anything is likely to put people to sleep, it would be the anti-deficiency statute. So we only get 5 minutes, and I thought I would use my 5 minutes to juxtapose the folks smoking marijuana at McPherson Square with veterans who wanted to go see their monument.
And what is the theory then? That you know, I mean, it was established that he did speak with the White House. He couldn't remember who he said. But what is the theory, that he was directed by, or that he at least announced his plan to the White House that he was going to do this and it was sanctioned?
Well, I try not to speculate, particularly on motives, because I don't have any evidence. But one thing I would like to know is, well, who did you ask for? If you don't remember who you talked to, can you at least tell us who you asked for? Because that may be some circumstantial evidence of who you wound up talking to.
Yeah.
And he said it was multiple times. It strains credibility that a Park Service director would not remember who he talked to at the White House in the midst of a historic government shutdown. But absent any evidence to cross-examine him with, I am left to take him at his word that he can't remember who he talked to.
I know he said no one instructed him to put the barricades up. He says that came from himself. Before I let you go, Congressman, your thoughts on what's happening in the House tonight?
Megan, to be honest with you, all of us, whether we vote yes or no, and I'm going to vote no, need to go home and have a period of self-reflection. This has been a very difficult shutdown for a lot of innocent people, and I need to be better at persuading people on why raising the debt ceiling for the 82nd time is not good for this country. So I'm not going to cast stones at anybody other than myself. I didn't lose a lot of cases in court, and I haven't won many cases in politics, so I need to go evaluate my tactics.
It is amazing when you look at the number and you think how much focus was put on all these other things, and yet you see that clock ticking forward to $17 trillion in debt. And, you know, the nation's children are out there tonight asleep in their beds, not knowing what's coming at them. Congressman Trey Gowdy, great to see you. Thanks for being here.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.